Island, Lagos. This is Global Review on Hard Facts. And I did tell you earlier on that we will be looking at what's happening in Gaza and, of course, how the world is reacting to it. There's so much that's been happening from... I told myself that I was not going to watch TV or go to social media to watch anything because my heart can't take the pictures that are coming from Gaza. But we turn our gaze to Gaza, a place where the line between survival and extinction is no longer blurred. It is broken, literally. Over 6,000 Palestinians are dead. Children are starving to death. Entire families are being wiped out, not just by bombs, but by hunger. The United Nations has warned of famine. In fact, humanitarian groups say Israel is using starvation as a weapon of war. And as the world watches in outrage, some are beginning to act. France, the United Kingdom, and Canada have issued a historic ultimatum. If Israel does not agree to a ceasefire, they will recognize the state of Palestine. And I ask, was it not a state before? Anyway, what happens next? Can recognition bring justice when the ground is still soaked in blood? Can peace grow in a place where food, medicine, and freedom are all under siege? Well, what does Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu want? He's continued to reject this two-state solution even as the cost of war rises by the hour. My guest has been here before. I love to have him, and that's why I begged that he returned to be my guest today. Jeenah is a senior researcher at Mapungubwe Institute, and he joins us live via Zoom. Naeem, it's so good to have you join us, and welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah,
we must off air have a little lesson on how you pronounce the name of the organization I work for.
I know I have to be able to do. Yeah, I have to be able to pronounce it
next time.
Yeah,
next time.
All right, Naeem, I'm watching protests right now on television. I'm seeing people saying, "Look, what's happening in Israel, in Gaza, is terrible. Benjamin Netanyahu needs to do better." I've seen so many pictures of children who have become so malnourished that all you see is skin and bones. Let's start by asking what exactly is Israel's intention with this, weaponization of hunger?
Well, Israel's intention has always been for the whole of Palestine, not just for Gaza, but we're seeing it much more starkly now at Gaza. Its intention has always been to empty the land of its people. The indigenous people, the Palestinians, they want to get rid of them. And so we saw over the past 22 months a number of things leading to that kind of an outcome that they would like. Carpet bombing of places, killing babies in incubators, not just killing off an entire family, but an entire bloodline, so that bloodline doesn't exist very systematically. Then all of this talk of trying to get neighboring countries to receive the people from Gaza so that Trump can build his Riviera or whatever he wants there. All of these things are ways in which they have been trying to get rid of the Palestinians, and that is the objective. This starvation over the past 4 or 5 months is also in that direction. Essentially, starve people to death, which is what has been happening. Then you set up your own humanitarian organization. So the United Nations says that it has enough trucks on the borders to bring into Gaza enough aid to feed 2 million people in Gaza for 3 months. Mm-hmm. That aid is there waiting to come in. Instead, the United States and Israel set up their own organization, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, limited the distribution points to 3 or 4. And then when people came to receive aid after 4 months of being starved, desperate, came to receive aid, got fired upon. So since this so-called aid has been allowed in through this organization, we've had about 100 people killed every day, mostly at these aid collection points. Children, old people, like non-discriminatory. We're seeing now videos of what looks to many of us like Squid Games, that you see on Netflix. Soldiers playing games with people's lives. I mean, this is what we're seeing. And then the other thing, so now they're saying, okay, they'll let a few trucks in. Well, they let a few trucks in. I mean, the UN says that they need at least 500 trucks a day. They let in 86 trucks, or about half of which were looted by gangs supported by Israel. But the point is that after 4 months or so of starvation, the body changes. You can't just suddenly start eating and expect that it'll nourish you. That food just goes out of your body. I mean, some scientists are saying that one's DNA changes after that long a period of starvation, which means again it contributes to people basically dying off. And they can say, well, now we are letting aid in. Well, it's too late. People are still dying of malnourishment. So this is really the objective. Get rid of the indigenous people and take over the land.
Interesting. The IPC, I beg your pardon, says Gaza meets 2 out of 3 famine thresholds. Over 150 people, mostly children and elderly, have died from hunger. There are people who are calling this an ethnic cleansing, as you have pointed. But then the Israeli government continues to deny that there is a famine. This move by Canada and the US and France, what will it change? What will it possibly do to a situation that's already deteriorated to this point?
On that famine issue, look, we don't live in the 1950s or 1850s. We're all seeing these pictures, right? And even if you want to take the most restrictive definition of what is a famine, you just gave it. According to expert organizations, what we're seeing is a famine. The soldiers who are killing these people can deny it as much as they want. On the issue of this, the conference that took place and this seeming scramble to recognize a Palestinian state, etc. Look, one might ask, what is the point of this? I mean, we already have 147 out of 193 member states of the United Nations, 147 recognize Palestine as a state, right? These states that have been determined not to do so, now suddenly one after another want to do so. What is so the issue here is, firstly, that the famine, the starvation imposed on the people of Gaza has reached such a point that in all of these countries where there's relatively free media, or at least there's the internet, people are seeing this, people are getting upset. I mean, you said early on, your heart can't handle it. I mean, this is how many of us feel, right? And so these governments have to do something. The point is that look at France, look at Saudi Arabia, the two hosts of this conference. France is a member of the G7. France is a member of NATO. France is a nuclear-armed nation. It's a rich country. Saudi Arabia is a very rich country. Between the two of them, in the past 22 months, they've not managed to get a single bottle of water into Gaza for people who are starving. Not a single bottle of water. What does this conference do? We see all the bottles of water in front of all the people attending the conference, right? What does it do? We can say we recognize a Palestinian state. How many lives will it save in Gaza? Not a single one, right? And we're not talking about Nigeria or Sudan or South Africa, right? We're talking about countries here who can deploy a navy and say we are taking aid to Gaza via the sea, and don't anyone dare stop us. No, they haven't done anything. Recognizing a Palestinian state means nothing to the people that are being killed. According to some studies, there are now, so the Gaza Ministry of Health uses a figure of the number of bodies that arrive at a hospital. That's what they count. And so it's 60,000 or so. Others, like this study in the Lancet journal in the UK, the medical journal, they look at not only the bodies, but also how many people are buried under the rubble and therefore dead, or presumed dead, how many people have died of starvation, etc. And by some of these counts, we're looking at 450,000 people killed. That's almost 20% of that population killed. These rich countries have done nothing to get food to these people. Now you have this conference. But when you look more carefully at this conference, even if you say, okay, it's symbolic, no, it's not even that. Because when you look carefully, this conference, for example, had 4 thematic areas that it discussed over 2 days, and its declaration highlights and elaborates on that, right? Number 1, to move towards the recognition of a Palestinian state. Okay, sounds good. And to guarantee Israel's security. Okay, who are the people getting killed right now? It's not Israelis. 100 people a day is Palestinian civilians. No, but we want to guarantee the security of Israel. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, that the Palestinian resistance must be disarmed and Hamas must have no role in any future political situation. Well, firstly, who are you to dictate to an oppressed people who they should elect, right? But
do the people of Palestine actually agree with what Hamas is doing? Because you see, the argument that the Palestinians always give is that look, we may not agree with what Hamas is doing, but you can't kill all of us in the name of trying to get to Hamas. So again, does it mean that the people of Palestine agree with what Hamas is doing? Hence, whatever happens to them or is meted out to them by Israel is worthy.
Okay, so I'll respond to that now. Let me just finish with these 4 thematic areas, right? So the second one I said was about this disarming Hamas, etc.
Yeah.
The third one is normalization of relations between Arab states and Israel. So again, is this about Palestinians or is it about Israel, right? And then about reform of the Palestinian Authority. So to what end? Is this about Palestinians or is it about Israel? And what is the state that you're talking about that you want? I mean, by most accounts, what they're talking about is what we in South Africa used to call a Bantustan, right? That's what they're talking about. If you look at Trump's plan in his first term, he was talking about a state which would have no control over its borders, no control over its seas, over its airspace, over its electromagnetic spectrum, etc., etc. Is that the kind of state that you talk? Then it's not a state. On your question about Hamas, look, if we go back a little, 2006, there was the last parliamentary election held in the occupied Palestinian territory. After that, there was no election. Hamas won that election, and then it wasn't allowed to govern, right? Right now, many, and I'm not talking about Palestinians around the world, I'm talking about Palestinians in Gaza, regard the resistance. And of course, when I say the resistance, it's not just Hamas. Hamas is the biggest one of these groups, but it's Hamas, Islamic Jihad, the Popular Front, the Democratic Front, even Fatah groups. Many people in Gaza right now regard the resistance as their only defenders. They can see what is happening. They're getting bombed. They're getting shot at when they go to receive aid. They're getting attacked by these gangs which are supported by Israel. The Gaza Humanitarian Foundation itself is run by a mercenary organization whose mercenaries are shooting at them. The only ones that are actually seem to be defending them are the people who are going and killing Israeli soldiers. It's the resistance. So the support for the resistance, because without the resistance right now, people in Gaza feel that figure of, let's say, whether it's 60,000, 200,000 or 450,000, that figure will just escalate because the soldiers will have no fear, right now they do, no fear, no concern about where they're going, and will just mow down people. I mean, these soldiers have put these videos on about what they do. Demolishing people's homes, killing people, killing children, killing babies, etc. It'll be much worse if there were no defenders.
Interesting. Now, let's talk about this two-state solution, which is something that I try to wrap my head around. Every time it's brought up, it looks like something should sit down. Do you think that without an agreement of a ceasefire, peace agreement drawn, that a two-state solution can work? Because again, it looks like Netanyahu just enjoys, the continuation of this war, and many pundits have said that he's doing it because he needs to continuously stay in power. And I've seen several videos of him back in the day just continuously speaking about maybe Iraq or that country or this, and saying, oh, if we deal with this person, oh, then we'll put an end to, this. But it's continued over the years. And I also understand that there are people in Israel who do not necessarily agree with his pattern or the way his strategy in dealing with this situation. Can we say that in our lifetime we will see that two-state solution hold sway between Israel and Palestine?
Firstly, about Netanyahu, we must remember that Netanyahu's party, the Likud party, in its party charter from its founding, which it still supports, it wants an Israeli state from the river to the sea. Those are the words that it uses, right? So the Likud party that Netanyahu belongs to doesn't believe in any such thing as a two-state solution. That the West Bank, Gaza, all of that should be part of an Israeli state. And so last week, or 2 weeks ago, the Israeli parliament, the Knesset, passed a resolution calling for the annexation of the West Bank, right? Yes, there is some pressure within Israel on Netanyahu, but he seems like, he seems like the ultimate survivor. No matter what happens, he's able to overcome that. And right now, it doesn't seem like that'll change. But even if it changes, I mean, polls now show that the Israeli population, there's about 60%
I'm
of the
so
Israeli
sorry,
population.
Naeem. I have to go on a very short break. If you don't mind, we'll be right back.
Sure.
So just hold that thought.
More news and information coming up. We'll be back in a moment.
It's amazing how your child grows up before your eyes. Enable their thriving development and the care they need with the new NanKid 4 with HMOs to support your child's development, probiotics to help your child's digestion and development, and high-quality proteins to support age-appropriate growth. And all of these work together to support your child's development and growth today and tomorrow. NanKid 4. Nourish your child's potential.
Every day is about winning with one play on Nigeria Info. On Nigeria Info, daily winnings is now over 150,000 naira. Just go to oneplay.ng or dial *347 *880 *3#. Play with as little as 500 naira, and in a few seconds, your ticket is in the draw. The more you play, the better your chances of winning every day on the Morning Crossfire, WhatsApp Lagos, and Game On shows on weekdays, and the Football Frenzy shows on weekends. But that's not all. Every Friday, there will be a 500,000 naira jackpot. Playing during the week automatically qualifies you for the weekly jackpot. Your chances of winning are the same whether you play on oneplay.ng or dial *347 *880 *3#. Remember to play responsibly. Not suitable for persons under the age of 18. OnePlay is a registered trademark under Lasho Trading Services Limited, licensed by the Lagos State Lotteries and Gaming Commission.
Start your day and have a good time.
Kivo Krima.
Where you need to have the break time.
Kivo Krima.
If not tea, Papa Garita.
Kivo Krima. Kivo Krima.
In the kitchen game, there are players and then Agba Ballers, MVP, Player of the Year, 10-0, no rival. Become an Agba Baller with a new improved Maggi chicken flavor, made with a flavorful formation of onions, celery, turmeric to bring out your top game in the kitchen. Elevate the taste of your everyday dishes with delicious rich chicken flavor. Oh yeah, let's go.
New Maggi chicken flavor, my game changer.
Ah, finally.
Finally what?
I've been trying to reach your phone for days.
Oh, so sorry. Telecommunication services have been very poor in my area lately. Some hoodlums vandalized the telecoms masts around here.
Ah, they tried it in my area, but guess what? Our people now protect the mast as if our lives depend on it.
Wise move. I must tell my husband to raise the issue at our community meeting so that we too can protect all our telecom masts.
Exactly. You see, when telecom mast and fiber cables are destroyed, every area of our life From education to healthcare to banking operations, and the entire economy is affected. Vandalizing telecommunications infrastructure harms everyone. Dial 622 from any network or send an email to protect@ncc.gov.ng to report suspected cases of vandalism. This message is brought to you by mobile network operators and towercos in collaboration with the Nigerian Communications Commission.
Mr. Teacher, please, what happens when children come to school? How is it that they leave home very neat and return looking so different?
Non-stop action, ma. All the learning and sports burn energy. So those sweat stains, dirty uniforms and shoes, they show that your kid has been very active.
Now, wow.
Your kids need nourishing energy. Give them Milo at breakfast. It has nutrients that support energy release to help them get the most out of their day. Milo, energy to go further.
Milo!
This is Nigeria, where every new day brings a fresh chance to dream bigger, push harder, and live confidently. But true confidence is more than hope. It's knowing that no matter where you are, no matter who you are, you're protected, empowered, and ready for the journey ahead. At Sanlam Alliance, we believe confidence isn't just for a few, it's the right of everyone. That's why we have come together, uniting the strength of a Pan-African giant and a global leader to give you the financial protection and solutions you need to succeed. Because when we come together, we protect more, we achieve more, and we all rise together. Sanlam and Alliance is now Sanlam Alliance. Sanlam Alliance. Live with confidence.
Make I ask you the last question. Among the options where I go give you, choose the one where they give better gaming experience where person no fit forget. A, to use your data they watch match early momo. B, they listen to your uncle where be your bungest sports guru. C, Betano. The correct answer now Betano. Don't go tell yourself, if you join the Pata betting platform for inside Nigeria, where you get different betting options, fast cash out, missions where they engage it, betting data features, and we go welcome you with bonus of 200,000 naira. Better know, the game don't start. Bet responsibly, not only for people who don't pass 18 years. Better know, now proud partner of Aston Villa.
New Lafarge Water Shield Cement now confirm.
Oh, welcome, sir. Sir, we are set to begin the foundation.
Everything set?
Everything, sir. We have the estimates for the granite, the sand, the iron rods, the concrete blocks, the cement, the...
Wait, engineer. What cement are you planning to use?
Oh, the normal cement, sir.
The normal cement?
Yes, sir.
You know the area is waterlogged and you say normal cement? Have you not heard of Water Shield? The new waterproof cement by Lafarge, designed to protect buildings from water damage and water damage to your property. If you're building in a waterlogged area, then your best bet is the new Water Shield cement by Lafarge. Water Shield is the waterproof, high-strength cement expertly formulated for all interior and external use in waterlogged areas.
New Lafarge Water Shield Cement now confirm.
And water damage to your property.
All right, class, settle down. Today, let's talk about how you started your day.
We got dressed and had pancakes with John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate for breakfast.
My mom makes John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate for us too.
My mom calls it instant goodness. My sister and I always put it inside our pap. It's so yummy.
John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate is a chocolate drink made of rich cocoa, milk, and sugar. Available nationwide in stores. John Vance 3-in-1 chocolate. Enjoy instant goodness.
Hey, whoa! Now so I did on my own. Now a message enter my phone. Fiam. I can't click Fiam. Now so my money for account go. Fiam. Hey. If to say na Airtel you dey use, them for first alert you before you click Airtel they identify spammers, then alert them customers with AI powered service to make sure say you no fall mugu for wuruwuru scam messages. No charges, no subscription needed. Me self they go join Airtel. Fiam.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your number one station for talk. Let's talk.
We're back. It's still Global Review, and we are talking about the situation in Gaza, the whole of Palestine, the fact that 3 countries, Canada, Britain, and of course France, are well, threatening Israel that they are going to acknowledge Palestine as a state if they do not agree to a ceasefire. But of course, before we went on the break, my guest Naim has been talking to us about the two-state solution, what he thinks that Netanyahu's plan is, and of course, if we will ever see a two-state solution in this lifetime. Naim, let's get back to your train of thoughts, please.
Yes, we were talking about Netanyahu. The one trap that we shouldn't fall into is believing that all this is about Netanyahu. If Netanyahu goes, everything will be okay. That's not the case. A recent survey by Penn State University in the US found that of Jewish Israelis, because that 20% of the Israeli population is Palestinian, of Israel itself. I'm not talking about the West Bank and Gaza. So of Jewish Israelis, 82% support expelling Palestinians from Gaza. This is not a fringe element. 82%. 56% of them support expelling Palestinian citizens of Israel from Israel. Right? So you're talking about a society where racism has become so ingrained, a desire for genocide has become so ingrained. It's not just about Netanyahu anymore, not just about him, right? Now these calls for recognition, and you're absolutely correct. I mean, the way that Keir Starmer, the British Prime Minister, phrased his announcement, he said that Britain will recognize a Palestinian state unless Israel allows aid to go in and agrees to a ceasefire, and they have until September to do so, which means for the next 2 months you can kill as many people as you want, but by September, if you have a ceasefire and you allow aid in, we won't. So all this thing about recognition of a state is a threat to Israel. And even a conditional threat. It gives them 2 months to respond to the threat. At the same time, both Britain and Canada continue supplying weapons components to Israel. I mean, Britain supplies it with parts for its F-35s that are dropping bombs on Palestinians. That doesn't stop. That continues, even from Canada. The weapons components they're supplying will continue. So then you wonder, what is this Palestinian state thing all about? As I said early on, it's really about Israel. It's not about the Palestinians.
So what is the Arab League's voice in all of this? I mean, I know that you talked about a conference that they've had, but what is their current stance on this two-state solution, especially with the normalization of deals like the Abraham Accords, I beg your pardon, on the table? Is it that the Palestinians do not have the Arab League supporting it? Do they stand by and watch more Palestinians being killed?
Yes, The Palestinians do not have the support of almost all the Arab states, frankly speaking. One or two exceptions. Algeria, for example, is a clear exception. And now and then, in different ways, one or two others. But in the main, no. The Arab League, for one, is completely impotent in general. They're good at having conferences and making statements of which nothing happens. But these are countries that border Israel. Again, if they wanted, they could make sure that the border with Egypt is open and the trucks go in. But no, they haven't done that. Those trucks are still sitting on the Egyptian side of the border with aid that can sustain people in Gaza for 3 months. Nothing has happened. When the Ansar Allah group in Yemen started blocking the Red Sea from any ships that were going to Israel, Israel had immediately at the time had a crisis. It couldn't get its fruits and vegetables, in particular, fresh produce. Where did it come from? It came from the United Arab Emirates via Jordan. So Palestinians have no optimism or no hope that these Arab states and their dictatorships are going to support them. I mean, all these Arab states are dictatorships, either monarchies or even those that call themselves republics. I mean, the president of Egypt is a president because of a coup. So, all these Arab dictatorships have, as far as Palestinians are concerned, especially Palestinians in Gaza, they've been entirely let down by the Arab states. It wasn't an Arab state that went to the ICJ with a case for genocide against Israel. It was an African state, a southern African state, not a North African state, which could be Arab. The other cases at the ICJ, ICC, etc. Where are the Arab states in that? They'll hold a conference to call for recognition of a Palestinian state and talk about a two-state solution, which goes nowhere, as I've already said. But in real terms, they have not supported them. Now, the latest, of course, from three of these states, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Egypt, is they are demanding that the Palestinian resistance must disarm. To what end? Is that going to save the lives of people in Gaza? Is that going to prevent the starvation? It's not. I mean, Netanyahu and his government have made it clear that they want to bring Gaza under their control and they want to occupy parts of it in the long term. Whether Hamas is there or not is irrelevant.
Let's talk about accountability, war crimes, and international law, because with due respect to the United Nations, I don't know what powers they have anymore, because this whole Israel-Gaza thing has, including the Ukrainian war, has made, the United Nations look like, for want of a better word to describe it, a joke. But Amnesty International and other human rights bodies have alleged that Israel is committing a genocide, or at least committing war crimes. What legal avenues, I'm laughing while I'm asking this question, do the Palestinians or the international community have to hold Israel to some level of accountability, apart from the fact that, South Africa took them to the ICC?
The most recent organization, of course, to say that this is a genocide is B'Tselem, which is the preeminent human rights organization in Israel itself. What legal, there's two, there's legal and political. Legal mechanisms, the ICJ and the ICC. The ICJ being the more superior one because all the UN member states are subject to the ICJ. The ICC, you have to be a signatory of the Rome Statute. Even after South Africa's case, the ICJ issued provisional measures against Israel. Israel snubbed its nose against all of that. Then on another case, the ICJ made a ruling, sent an advisory opinion, which says, for example, that the occupation is illegal, that all the settlements in the West Bank are illegal and must be dismantled, etc., etc. None of that has happened. On the political side, there's, of course, the UN Security Council. The UN General Assembly can make whatever resolutions it wants to, but it doesn't have the power to authorize anything more than that. The Security Council, as long as, and this is the nub of it, as long as Israel has the unquestioning, uncritical support of the United States, nothing will happen. And in the UN Security Council, you have a resolution that comes up for a ceasefire. Not anything favoring Palestinians, just a ceasefire. And the US will veto it. And that has happened numerous times over the past year. So the legal avenues, Israel completely ignores because it can do so, because it has the support of the US. And the political avenue, which is the Security Council, it knows that it has the full protection of the US.
Interesting. It does. Let me ask this question anyway. With all that's played out, whether it's the United Nations Security Council, whether it's the UN in itself as a bloc, and all of these humanitarian bodies, including the ICC, if Israel can outrightly, with the support of the United Kingdom and the US, flout some of these court judgments, why should these court judgments for other countries, especially African countries, be binding? Does this not mean that the ICJ or the United Nations picks and chooses its prey?
So this is a very important, interesting, and important question, because it brings into focus the whole matter of international law. What is international law? Who does it apply to? And international, I mean, the ICC, for example, we used to complain for years. We've been complaining that the ICC seems to apply only to Africans. It's only our dictators that that get hauled up to the ICC. No one else does, right? But now, with what is happening, the whole issue of international law is under focus, because it's now clear that international law wasn't crafted by us. It was crafted by Europeans. You know who introduced the term human rights into the into the UN Charter? It was a South African. It was Jan Smuts, right? A colonialist who introduced it. He was, and he's lauded for it. And they say that the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, the term human rights was taken from that thing in the Charter. This was a guy who, had ruled over apartheid in South Africa before it was called apartheid. Because Europeans crafted international law in order to conduct relations between themselves, in order to regulate conflicts between themselves. So while they were talking about, for example, international law at the beginning of the 20th century, right at that time, they committed 2 genocides in Namibia. But these Namibians are Africans. They don't count. They're not really civilized people. So international law doesn't apply to them. Now, suddenly, we have cases that are going to the International Court of Justice of African states, of states from what we call now the Global South, saying, no, hold on. We own this international law thing also. And you're not going to only use it against us, but we want to use it in order to create a world that is governed by law. And this has now thrown the whole system into a kind of crisis, because it was never meant to be this.
I want to open up the phone lines. By the way, we're live on Facebook.com/Nigeria Info FM. We're also live on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM. You could join the conversation. If you're listening to us from outside of the country, you want to join the conversation on WhatsApp, it's 08095975805. Only for those who are calling from the diaspora. But in-house, you can call 020-127-7099, 020-1465-7190, only for the ladies. Hello, welcome to Global Review.
Good evening, Maryann.
Good evening.
It's Emmanuel. I'm speaking to you from Ekwe. Sometimes I wonder if Hitler was a time traveler, who probably has seen these people. It is animorous what these people are doing in Gaza. And if any Israeli is listening to me and you think you are safe, it's a big lie. Because today, before October 7, you might not have all the Palestinians have sympathy for Hamas. But today, I tell you, any Palestinian seeing his child, his uncle, his mother, his father being brutally killed the way they are killed today, it's a time bomb for the Israeli children in the future. If they like, they listen. If they like, they don't. Good evening to you.
Thank you very much for calling. Interesting. It's an argument that someone raised with me some time ago in the US that we try every day to try to fight terrorism, but then our actions are breeding more and more terrorists because of the kinds of things that we're doing in these countries that we now call terrorist states. I'll leave that to people to just think about it. Hello, welcome to Global Review.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. Good evening. Now, you see, you are always.
I'm so sorry. Your line is very bad. You have to call me back because we cannot hear you. Yeah. Hello. Welcome to Global Review. Turn off your radio, please.
Good evening, madam.
Yeah.
Yes, I've heard what your guest.
What's your name, sir? Where are you calling from?
My name is Emmanuel. I'm calling from Ikorodu.
All right.
Okay, my question. You see, if you look at this issue that's happening between Palestine and Israel, you look at it critically. Both sides have sports. If there was no October 7th, there could have been any fighting like this. Now, my question is now about the two-state solution. What will guarantee the safety of Israel? That's my question to them. What the Palestinian or the terrorist group there agree to lay down their arm?
Okay, great question. All right, thank you very much. I'm sure you heard him. He was asking, can they guarantee the safety of Israel? Will Hamas or all of the groups that are fighting decide to lay down their arms for peace to reign?
Well, this is the fear among Palestinians. If these resistance groups agree to lay down their arms, people in Gaza feel that they will be entirely vulnerable. There will be nothing to prevent Israel from continuing its genocide and to get rid of them, either kill them off or send them off to other countries. So that is a serious concern, and that's why Hamas is not willing to accept any ceasefire deal that is temporary. The demand is that if we have a ceasefire, then it must be a ceasefire, not 60 days, we return the captives, and then you can start bombing us again. So this is certainly a concern from the Palestinian side.
All right, we can take a few more calls. I have about 4 minutes on the clock. If you have questions, you have comments on the issue of a two-state solution, the hunger, the starvation in Gaza, and of course Britain, France, and of course Canada saying that they want to recognize, the state of Palestine. Let's talk. Hello.
Hello, Maryann.
Yes, good evening.
Yeah, Godman here.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, so I want to separate Hamas from the Palestinians, the nominal Palestinian, because I think Hamas is the problem. Why we have this problem now is Hamas, October 7th, like the other man said. So I think even some of Hamas uses people for human shield. Do they really care about the Palestinians? They don't really care. They're just about their own agenda. So, and then why have they not released the hostages? Because Israel has a claim of, if you can release the hostages, this whole thing ceases. And why are they still holding on to it? If they care about their people, let the hostages give back Israel the hostages they hold, and this whole thing ends. So Hamas, I went to point to Hamas, I know Israel have their own faults, but Hamas majorly, I don't think they care about the Palestinians. Let them release the hostages and let them, if Israel still continues, then the whole world knows that these people are not real, they don't really want to do things right. That's
all right.
where I want to just...
Thank you, Godman, for your message. I'll take another call. Hello. Welcome to Hard Facts.
Hello, Maryann.
Turn off your radio. Turn off your radio, please.
Sorry about that, already did.
Go ahead.
Maryann, this is Nemeka Jeenah from Satellite Town. Greetings to your guest. I want to thank Godman for highlighting that very fact. You see, when people condemn the state of Israel, bad as it is, horrendous as it is, yes, what they're doing now is now almost tantamount to genocide. But let's not forget October 7th, when this whole thing started. And if Hamas really cared about the people of Palestine, what is stopping them from releasing those hostages? And let us see if Israel will continue this bombardment and killing. I think when you look at the elites of Hamas, those of their political leaders, you see them enjoying themselves far away in some Arab Gulf states. Pictures have surfaced on the internet where them enjoying living luxurious lifestyle and pretending to be fighting for the people of Palestine. As we are indicting the government of Israel, we're also indicting Hamas. Hamas is responsible for whatever that is happening, the death of children and women in Gaza, because they're only serving their own selfish ends. And for the United Nations and the rest of the world, you all are guilty of what's happening in Gaza. History will never forgive you people.
All right. Thank you very much for calling. Can I take one quick call, and then of course I'll let you speak. I want to take this call on WhatsApp. You may not hear what the person is going to say, but I will, give you feedback. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Baby from UK.
All right. Did it go ahead? You have 60 seconds. Quickly.
Very well. Quickly, I want to ask. This fighting that has been going on, I've been following it up closely. But I've never seen Hamas on uniform when they are fighting. I only saw them once when they wanted to hand over the hostages. Then I asked, is it right to be fighting war without a uniform? Thank you.
Okay, interesting. I understand where you're coming from. I don't know if that really applies to anything, but Naeem, you can go ahead.
So I couldn't hear that call.
So he said that he's never seen Hamas, that they keep talking about Hamas. He's never seen them, not even in a uniform. He's only seen them once when they were, handing over some of the hostages. And he's saying, is it right to fight a war without a uniform? So in a way that you can be pointed to, like what's happening in Russia and Ukraine.
Yeah, and no, it's not right. I mean, under international law, whether it's an army of a state or non-state army, they should have a uniform so that the enemy can distinguish between civilians and them. All of the resistance groups in Gaza have uniforms. And different uniforms. So the uniform of the Hamas armed fighters is different from the PFLP group, different from the Islamic Jihad. They all have badges for their respective organizations, etc. So they are clearly distinguishable from the civilians.
Well, I wish that we could. The phone lines are literally on fire, but we don't have time, and I have just about 20 seconds. I want to say thank you. Naeem Jeenah is, I don't want to murder that name, but I'll try my best. He's a researcher, and he also is someone I would call a historian when it comes to issues that have to do with, the Middle East. Naeem Jeenah is a senior researcher at Mapungubwe Institute. You will teach me how to pronounce Mapungubwe sometimes.
I will.
Thank you so much, Naeem. We can only keep our fingers crossed and hope that something good will come out of all of this. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, Lagos, we're going to go on a break. When we come back on the other side, we're talking about the hate that we are giving in Nigeria.
Yes, and then Agba Ballers, MVP, Player of the Year, 10-0, no rival. Become an Agba Baller with the new improved Maggi chicken flavor, made with a flavorful formation of onions, celery, turmeric to bring out your top game in the kitchen. Elevate the taste of your everyday dishes with delicious rich chicken flavor. Oh yeah!
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens.